Chris, aka Zomproof here. In my first video, I presented the best zombie games available. You should be able to watch the video from that link up on the top here if I'm doing this correctly. And I asked what games you thought belonged on the list instead. The first response I got was from a game that I'd only heard of in passing, Project Zomboid. After streaming it, I realized that this game would be perfect for my first early access review. Project Zomboid is being developed by the Indie Stone, a small team of British and Canadian developers who first released the game as a tech demo back in 2011 and eventually on Steam Early Access in 2013. In the game, you find yourself in Knox County, a fictionalized county in Kentucky, swarming with the undead. Few punches are pulled as you try to survive, even when played on the easiest difficulties. My first character survived 15 minutes before a zombie bit him on the arm. But that's the point. Currently, there are no objectives other than to survive as long as you can, as this is the story of how you died. Now, I would recommend starting with the tutorial, as the mechanics of the game can take a little bit to get used to. But you quickly get an understanding of just how brutal the world you're about to jump into is. When selecting a new game, you're presented with different difficulty modes and challenges. Sandbox mode even allows you to fine-tune every aspect of your apocalypse, including how quickly food spoils and whether zombies are speedy or the more Romero-style shamblers. Most of my playtime was in builder style, though I did jump into survivor mode to explore something more akin to the original playstyle of the game. And while I played as the last man on Earth, Project Zomboid also supports 4-player split-screen co-op as well as persistent player-run servers. 4 cities are currently available to spawn into, but they're all part of one incredibly massive map, with each representing different types of city environments, like residential, urban, or even upper class. Each has their different pros and cons depending on your playstyle. After selecting a background, career, and some traits, you're dropped into the world with little more than the clothes on your back and a water bottle in your pocket. I'm not going to go into all the mechanics in this video, but the best I can say is think before you leap. Crouch walking doesn't eat up your stamina. Carrying things in a duffel bag is easier than carrying them in your pocket. And maybe you shouldn't just smash through a glass window for, well, frankly, a lot of reasons. But I will say, when in doubt, right-click where you want to do something and see what the options are. I've been shocked by some of the details in this game. I even had one of my characters start cleaning up the blood splatter because it messed with the feng shui of my home base. But I think cleaning up also benefits your character's mental state as well. And with that, let's get a quick rundown of the UI. On the left-hand side, you have whatever is currently in your hands, a box for your inventory screen, a heart for your health and stats, your crafting menu, an item movement screen, a search mode, and your map. I would always recommend keeping your inventory screen on the top of your window. It makes it easier to transfer loot to your person, which is more important than you would realize, especially when deciding what container to put them in. Your health screen will show you what type of wounds you have, whether or not you need to change your bandage, or what level you're at with your skills. I'll be honest, I haven't crafted that much in my time with the game. Requirements are pretty realistic, and most of the time they're pretty hard to find. I've disassembled some tables and beds for materials, but most of that went to boarding up the windows and doors. But I did make a newspaper hat, so really, what's more important? The same with item movement and search mode. I really didn't use either feature a whole lot in my playthroughs, but the map is extremely useful for making notes on key locations. Just make sure to read every map you do stumble upon in the world, as well as keeping a writing utensil on hand, or else you can't really make notes. The right hand of the screen is meant for, I guess, conditional notifications. First off, I would recommend looking for a watch, probably on a dead zombie. It's the only way to accurately know the time. Otherwise, you'll see notices for how your character is feeling. Hopefully, most of the time, you'll only see how sleepy you are or how hungry you are. But occasionally, your panic level matters, being overburdened matters, and, well, being soaking wet matters. In terms of graphics, Project Zomboid isn't much to look at, but I think that works in the game's favor. The world is persistent and even tracks decay and spoilage, or whatever you want to call it. Keeping the graphics more basic helps the game. Besides, zombies aren't any less creepy in this style. It takes practice to get the hang of the combat. First, you have to aim or ready your weapons. Then you have to move your cursor over the zombie, then swing away. I do recommend turning on the highlight target option in the menu. It makes it easier to know which zombie you're specifically targeting or if you're targeting anyone at all, which is occasionally more difficult than it needs to be. Sometimes you find yourself swinging in the air, but I guess that kind of simulates the panic of a zombie attack. But just make sure to give yourself every single advantage you can in a fight. Random events do occur in the world, including sometimes homeowners forgetting to turn their alarms off. Currently, there are no NPCs in the world, but developers have a roadmap that include living humans and even animals. I've seen some tweets about their efforts, though no exact timelines have currently been released. In all, I have to say I love this game. Even though it's been on Steam Early Access for over 8 years, the developers clearly show they care about making a great game. Other improvements they're looking into are expansions to the game map, as well as Steam Workshop support, though the modding community as it stands is still incredibly strong. If I redid the list today, Project Zomboid would be near the absolute top of the list of best zombie games, coming in really close to State of Decay 2. Sometimes, though, I do want the realism to take a backseat to fun, though once NPCs get in the game, I may have to rethink it. In the meantime, this is still an excellent early access game. In fact, it may be one of the best out there. There may be no timeline in terms of actually taking it out of early access, but I would still incredibly recommend it. Project Zomboid from the Indie Stone is available on Windows, Mac OS, and Steam OS on both Steam and GOG. System requirements are fairly basic. If you have 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 2 gigabyte graphics card, you probably are good to go, but please make sure to double check before you hit the buy button. Either way, thank you for joining on this first early access review. I have a few more games coming up, but if there are any games you would like me to take a look at, please make sure to drop in the comments below or hit me up on Twitter at Zomproof. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to stay up to date on all my videos, and feel free to tell your friends. I'm kind of looking to grow this channel out some more. But as always, this is Chris, aka Zomproof. Thanks for stopping by.